The difficult one on the big stage has obviously been China. I would say it's a subject on which I have spoken publicly before. At the end of the day, for us, we recognize it's a neighbor, it's a big neighbor, it's today a very significant economy and significant power. But at the end of the day, any relationship has to be based on a high degree of mutuality. There has to be a respect for each other's interests, sensitivity for each other's interests, and there has to be an adherence to agreements which were reached between us. And it is that departure from what was agreed between us which is today at the heart of the difficult phase that we are passing through with China. And the bottom line there is, at the end of the day, the state of the border will determine the state of the relationship. And say Pakistan obviously is the exception when it comes to the neighborhood. Again, it needs very little explanation. The fact is that we cannot allow terrorism to be normalized. We cannot allow that to become the basis for getting us into discussions with Pakistan. So I don't think, to me it's a fairly common sense proposition. In fact, if anything, I'm still a little perplexed by why we had not arrived at this position earlier. But we have arrived at it now. And the issue really is that until there is departure from and I would say an abrogation of this policy of cross-border terrorism. Clearly, it is not possible to. Moving from Europe, the relationship with Russia. This relationship has been held steady, kept steady, despite all the turbulence in the world. So it is actually for us a very unique relationship, I think in some ways for the Russians also. And in this period, for all the pressures on us, I think we have made our own evaluation of the importance of this relationship. And I do want to say that, sometimes this relationship is dumbed down to things like, oh, we are dependent on them for arms. I think it's far more complex than that. There is a geopolitical logic for what we are doing, what we have been doing with Russia. And today, many things which we were working on even prior to 2022, which is to how to expand our economic cooperation, those have borne fruition. So you actually have an upswing in the economic part of the relationship with Russia, even as you have very steady